Welcome, everyone, to the SnapCast podcasts.
Yo.
With your hosts, Brad O'Brien and Mike Cooley. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been kind of a crap week, so this is probably the highlight of it.
I feel the same way. We were just saying this literally seconds before we began. No matter how bad the week's going, it always seems like after doing this cast and chatting with you guys and putting our ideas out there somewhere on the internet, we always feel better. But this is episode 59 of this quaint podcast right here. And if you're new to the channel, you're new just popping in, you're like, what the hell did I tune into today?
Who are these jabronis?
Who are these guys? Well, we are the SnapCast podcast. We're a podcast all about Magic the Gathering and Magic-related things. We're geared towards the casual Magic player with a very competitive interest, and I mean very competitive interest in MTG finance. You wanna spec on some good Magic card picks? You wanna be a stock market investor with some Magic cards? These are the guys you want to talk to. These are the guys you want to talk to. And if you want some evidence to back that up,
we got some this episode.
We got some for you, right? I mean, this year we have been on fire. The one of our goals last year is, I remember we took this all the data of our picks, the cards that we picked the first year that we did this, and we were like, how good were we with picking these cards? And we were like, okay, we were right most of the time.
Better than a coin flip was our claim to fame.
Better than a coin flip. But we said, you know what we want to do? We want to add not only that camaraderie that we bring to every podcast each week, but we also want to add ridiculous accuracy to our picks. And by that, I mean just increase pretty significantly from where we're at. We could always miss, right? Like, we could always have a good idea and it could miss. We're not going to say we're going to be 100%. But holy, we're on the right track this year. We are killing it.
Well, it does help when the reserve list pops off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's and so a lot of our picks throughout this year have been RL cards, and it is great to see them to being so successful and growing into the strong, powerful children that we knew they were always meant to be.
Well, it's kind of true, but I mean, one of the reasons we started doing this cast in the first place is because we would have these conversations, and sure as shit, most of the time, we would be right. And those conversations didn't stem from us like going and hunting and putting in, and looking into things we'd never seen before necessarily, but instead it was talking about the things that we do know as players, that we are familiar with. Brad, having such a key attention to detail on modern decks, especially humans that pop out that might have ridiculous potential, and me with that classic historical knowledge of these, far off eternal formats and the reserved lists that has been my passion for so long. I've loved those cards. I've played the game forever. And that, before we even started this cast, is how I made all of my picks that just turned into friggin' gold. I was like, this is so that's what we're trying to bring this year and increase that nasty level of accuracy with just being ourselves. We're just going in and saying and spitting the stuff that we know. And this year we're on fire.
The other thing that I will say is don't kick yourself if you get out of a pick a little early. So, like, I'm kicking myself a little bit because less than a month ago, I sold off a set of Gemstone Caverns because that card has come and gone and come and gone, and they can reprint it again at any point. But I had a place at a time, spiral ones, and I put them up on eBay, and I was not super impressed with the price that I got, but it was fair. And then fast forward to this week when the Valki Tibalt decks in modern and in a lot of older formats are running a play set of Gemstone Caverns so that I could watch Saffron Olive turn 0 cascade into a Tibalt.
Oh my God. That's a thing.
On the draw, played a Gemstone Cavern, Exile Simian Spirit Guide, Why can I never remember the name of that? Violent Outburst.
Yeah.
Anyway, Violent Outburst.
Yeah. Insert Cascade card for 3 mana here. Like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Turn 0? He has a 7 mana Planeswalker on the field. Something's busted.
But we'll talk about that later. Because the first thing that I want to do is, we always talk about when the best time to get cards is when they're reprinted, when they're banned, when the prices go down.
TechFour is here. We can start now. Appreciate you joining us up in the chat, man.
Finally.
Yeah.
So this is also, I'm going to level with you all. My favorite part of the show is when I get to show Cooley things that he hasn't seen yet.
Yeah, and just to give you guys kind of a roadmap of what we'll be discussing here all throughout, right? We've got so much to talk about this week. We always try to give you the best of what we know, right? And we always say, we always talk about cards and when a good time to pick them up is going to be. We've got that on the agenda today. We're going to talk about when is a good time to pick up some cards that you might have had your eyes on for a while. And in the grand scheme of things, what are some good cards right now that will probably never go down in value and you'll never see them cheaper ever again in your life? We're going to talk about that. But also, there's been some bannings and some changes and some proposed changes that are going to pop up in the Magic community. What are they going to be? What are they? What do we know? What do we not know? We're going to talk about that. A lot of them, a little bit of a spoiler, are going to be surrounding Uro. And, all of the debacle that goes along with that. But it goes deeper than that. People had mentioned doing other things that we might want to speculate on and kind of dive into that a little bit deeper as well. But let's start up with the most amazing thing. Speaking of Uro, right? Speaking of Uro, what have you got for me?
Well, are we? TechFour is asking in the chat if we're going to talk about the reserve list. I guarantee you that at some point in this podcast, we are going to talk about the reserve list.
It depends on your flavor. That's what I say. You could call it the reserve list, or you could call it
free money.
Free money. Like, do you want to make 300% on your investment in the next month or two? For entertainment purposes only, I can say you probably will. Like, if that's your thing, stay tuned. I got a sick pick this week for Snap This Up. And I think you're going to like it.
So, WotC released information regarding a new secret lair. Secret Lair's Smitten Super Drop. So, the Super Drops are when they offer more than one secret lair at a time. So, they'll have a week where you can order one of up to 5 or so different secret lairs. And with the Super Drops, usually you can get a discount if you buy the whole thing as a bundle. So Cooley hasn't seen these cards. I showed him the Uro reprint art, but he hasn't seen any of the other cards, and I'm waiting to show him these live on screen. So
Brad loves to show me these cards live. He loves to spoil things to me live. He somehow thinks my reaction is entertaining. I don't know.
So these go on sale tomorrow? Wow. Through the 21st. So you've got a week. All right, so very, very, very rad. What do you think's in this bundle?
Got to be some fairies. I mean, cards that pop into mind might be Bitter Blossom, Glenelendra Archmage. There might be Una Queen of Fae. There might be... Yeah, those are the big ones. Those are the ones that pop into mind. Did I just nail them all?
Well, they did Bitter Blossom as its own secret lair last year.
They did.
Actually, I think it was the first one or one of the first ones.
Yep, you're right.
But you did nail some of them.
Ooh. Oh, Vendilion Click. How did I miss this?
And yeah, I think even Kevin Flagg will say that that's better than the selfie stick click that he hates.
Yeah, that is bad art, I think. Wow. Okay, so I'm looking at these cards. I nailed one of them. So in this set of all fairies in this secret layer, they got 4 cards. This is an all-inclusive list right here.
All-inclusive list.
So these are
only available in foil.
Wow. And I mean, interesting art. If you're a fan of the art, if you're watching on YouTube,
very
you can see
particular.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this very colorful art they have here. It's like a fantasy style, but very colorful. There's not many black lines in it. You know, so the colors kind of they blend together. They're very bright, and it really just illustrates those shiny, bright fairies that you might expect. But some pretty cool cards, man. Nailed one of them, Glenalendra Archmage. What's up? One of my favorite fairies of all time. That's cool. I'm happy to see this one in here. One that I can't believe I missed is in here, and probably the other big pick that I'm not sure if it was overdue for a reprint, but it's still a pretty good card to have in the set, and that is Vendilion Click. You guys know that one, the 3-mana selfie stick click. Not so much of a selfie stick art this time, but that's always a cool card. If you're not familiar with it, 3-mana, 3/1, flash flying, and when it comes into play, you get to mess with your opponent's hand or your hand. You get to take a look at target player's hand, take a card from it, put it on the bottom, and they draw a card. Or you could just do nothing when you look at their hand. You can be like, your hand is shit.
Keep it. You can keep your hand. Have it. But, people make some, whether it's just or not, people make comparisons between Brazen Borrower to this card. You know, Brazen Borrower gives you that same 3/1 flying flash creature. It deals with a permanent that's on the battlefield and not in their hand.
Right.
But that's probably the closest thing in recent years. Brad Eaton is saying the best art is on the basic lands. Don't spoil it for Cooley. He hasn't seen these yet.
Oh, I can't wait now. But I'm also pumped, I will say, about Spell Stutter Sprite. That's cool. The Mistbind Click, the other card that's in it, meh. Every secret layer's got to have a throwaway. Everything, unless it's the Walking Dead secret layer, all of them have to have a throwaway. Yeah.
Okay. The unfathomable, crushing brutality of basic lands.
Ooh.
What do you think, just based on the title?
I'm going to guess 5 cards, man. I'm going to say Plains, Mountain, Swamp, Island, Forest.
Nailed it.
No way!
Yeah!
Woo! What did I say about that 100% prediction? We're nailing it this year.
Basic lands. So there's got to be something cool about them, right?
There's got to be, dude. What is it?
Well, what was one of my favorite art styles from the last Super Drop?
Was it like the Gothic style? Oh my gosh, yes it was. Yes, it was.
Metal style.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome.
These come in Pringle or regular chip?
These sort of look like almost like tarot cards.
Yeah,
like
totally.
These are they look like tarot cards for your lands. And they have the symbols, but it's all black and white. They're all black and whited out except for the title of like Island is blue, you know what I mean? But everything else is black and white. Almost, and they have some of them have the Guru style. You guys know what I'm talking about in the Guru lands, where they have those like rays of light or whatever coming from straight out to the borders from all directions. Some of them have that, such as like the Mountain, paying homage. I like that. Gothic art.
These are metal, dude.
Yeah.
Noted Magic streamer Frank Lepore was on Twitter today saying, somebody tell me that I shouldn't buy 13 sets of these for my cube. And it was like, well, I guess if you can swing it, holy crap, you'd have the coolest cube ever.
Yeah.
This set does come in, like I said, or non-foil, or as I said, Pringle or regular. And I think they're super hot. Like Brad Eaton said, best art is on the basic lands.
Yeah, that's really good.
We're going to get to some other cards.
Faux show.
But
yeah, that's a pretty cool double drop right there. Pretty cool.
Whoop. Valentine's Day 2021. Now, this is the Smitten Super Drop, so this is supposedly all surrounding Valentine's Day, although this thing ain't going to ship for months.
I wonder if there's a double entendre on these cards. Okay, I haven't seen any of them, but I'm wondering, the Valentine's Day smitten mean you're taken, you're smitten by love, right? There's also, the keyword smite there, right? To punish, to exile, to, I wonder if there's a double entendre here of some of these cards that might have been exiled or banned. Is there? Who knows? I haven't seen them. I'm just taking guesses.
So this is a weird one. This felt to me like we're just going to print a bunch of stuff that we like and throw it in the weirdest art ever. You guys can,
Oh my God,
that are watching the video can see Cooley like leaning off camera to, what is going on with the video?
Get the first view of the first view of the card.
And can y'all hear us? Can y'all see us? Somebody comment in the chat. It's gotten weird.
Oh yeah.
It's saying that our transmission bit rate is a little too high.
Is that what it's saying?
Yep.
Oh man.
Should we dump that down?
All
TechFour
Gucci.
says we're all Gucci.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just roll with it.
Just jam it. It probably can't spit it back and give us a preview because it's too high. It's like, you guys are too high.
So Boros Charm as a little cherub with a heart-shaped shield with the Boros symbol on it. You know, obviously these are all reprints. None of these are going to be new cards. Gisela Blade of Gold Knight has a little cherubim, cute, adorable angel creature. What the hell is Goblin Rabble Master doing? And what kind of a goblin? I don't get any of this.
I don't know, dude.
Look at this. So the Heliod is, imagine in foil, that might look pretty cool. But why would they choose? If any of these, TechFour says, if any plays any of these in this art, I'll just leave.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm glad somebody said it. You said what everybody was thinking, TechFour. What the hell is this art? Are you kidding me?
The Monastery Swift Spear is cool to me because I like the text centered in the box like that.
Yeah.
Haste Prowess. Full art Swift Spear.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And that's the least sort of offensive art. I love it. So at the same time, TechFour is just laughing. That Swift Spear, laugh my ass off.
It's ridiculous. Looks like those cartoons from back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? The old school cartoons. You had, like, around Christmas time. The Jack, the, what the hell? What am I thinking of?
Jack Frost.
Yeah, Jack Frost. Yeah. It's like that style art. Yeah, that's so weird. It begs the question, though. Do you buy these because you know nobody else is going to buy these and the price of them is going to go through the roof? No one's buying this one.
I don't expect this one to be popular.
It's awfully weird.
Showcase Kaldheim. What do you think we're getting here?
Are you see? We're getting some more showcase cards. Kaldheim. Now, are all of the cards from Kaldheim, or are they just in standard?
What if it was neither?
No way.
What if it was cards using the Kaldheim Showcase frames?
I can't even begin to guess what they would do with that then. That's not much to go off from. Let's just dive in and check them out.
This is the big one.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is the big one. Oh, man. So this is what you showed me earlier this week. These are the cards. Okay. So these are some boss cards that they're actually printing in this one. This is the best one to get if you're going to get any if you're getting them for value cards.
Seen them all yet? You haven't seen them all yet.
I looked on MTG Top 8 and they popped up with these exact same arts and I saw 5 cards.
Okay.
I think they're all Titans.
Frost Titan, Primeval Titan, and Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath. All being printed with sick art.
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, it's got that nice border.
Frames.
Yeah, they did that border on something else, too. Was it just another showcase that they did recently?
We're going to get there.
Ooh.
Like I said, there's more drops in this super drop.
Man.
But they did something here that is really unusual for WotC. And this has got a lot of conversation on Twitter. But if I scroll down to the bottom of this description, there's a little cheat note here. We are planning an upcoming ban and restricted announcement.
This is the big news.
In this announcement, we plan to ban Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath in Pioneer, Modern, and Historic. Additionally, we are continuing discussions about doing the same in Legacy. While we are still working on the larger B&R announcement for that week, we wanted to share this information ahead of the sale. So they did the forthright stand-up thing, which is to say, we're doing this reprint. We're also going to ban this card come Monday. So don't order 4 of these.
That's a very responsible thing to do.
Yeah. How much heat would they have gotten if they didn't put this caveat in there, and then on Monday it was banned.
That would have looked so bad. Hasbro stock would have crashed. That would have looked so bad. Now that's good for him to put that disclaimer there.
The other thing that they did is they made this particular piece $5 cheaper than it would be.
Interesting.
So when I say $5 cheaper, I mean $5 cheaper than Kaldheim Part 2, where we get Grave Titan, Inferno Titan, and Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger.
Oof.
Also available in foil and non-foil.
Jesus.
This one is selling for $5 more than the other one.
Oh. Dalton, I still say that's a pretty good price for those Uros, man. Like, when you hear what we're about to say, I probably wouldn't sell them, to tell you the truth. Like, yeah, this
nothing to gain from selling them right now.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. You know, it's $28 is a pretty good price for a card that went up to like $60+ at one point. Like,
it's still a great commander card.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you had mentioned. It's really good that they put that caveat out there, like, hey, we're going to ban this. But if you remember, as part of our hot streak in the past year here, we had talked about some of the best times to pick up cards were reprints and bannings, right? And we got them both with Uro right in one. And when was the last time this happened? Well, of course, that was Oko, Thief of Crowns. And that
is still climbing.
I mean, you know, and this is, I would dare say that Uro might go down probably to a similar price, right? It might go down to $15, $10-15 maybe at its low, but don't think it's going to stay there long.
Hey, Kawa, good to see you.
Kawa, what's up, man?
So one of the things that some people have spitballed about these is that in most of the secret layers, you do get a bonus card. And the Titan that we don't see here is Sun Titan, which has gotten a bunch of different reprints. But there are some people speculating, oh, wouldn't it be cool if the Sun Titan was snuck in as the freebie card in one of these?
Oh, that would be cool.
So that would be cool. And again, these frames in foil, like that Grave Titan in foil, if it doesn't wrap around your finger like a wedding band, is going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, and I mean, this is all Titans. I absolutely love the art. The Inferno Titan looks like the token art from Devastating Summons. Like, it's, you know, it's sort of an interesting play there because it is sort of a devastating summon whenever you land an Inferno Titan. I really like the artistic play on that, if that's what they were going for. But also, Grave Titan. Does that art remind you of anything right there? Like, that style of art has been on, you know, like some pretty, that devilish, like, you know what I mean? The showing the big horns and the devilish red background on the black cards has been in, you know, a lot of reprints, or even, you know, a lot of original prints of like some pretty legendary cards, such as like Infernal Tutor, back in the day, Laquatus Champion. It looks a lot like Laquatus Champion to me, that style of art. That was big back in the day. In fact, it was even a vintage deck at one point where people would just basically, you know, living end a bunch of Laquatus Champions into play and kill you on the spot. But, you know, it looks very similar. I like that art. I like the style there. But, of course, we're also getting Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger in this reprint. That is a card I've had my eye on for a while. And on this reprint, I might have to pick it up, dude.
Yeah, I think that it's the last Elder Giant, really, that Titan like that in Standard, and now with Uro being banned in all the formats, I think that we're going to see Kroxa finally sort of take his place as the powerhouse that it is. There are a lot more actual red-black showing up in Modern, or at least they're other red-black decks than the Tibalt decks that have been showing up. Most of those are Jund, and we'll talk about those after we talk about this stuff. We'll go and look at some event results and talk about deck lists. That's
nasty.
So
yeah, I love
all of these, flying back up to the top of the page, the fairies come only in foil for $40. The lands come in foil and non-foil for $30 and $40 respectively. The Valentines come in foil or non-foil as $30 and $40 respectively. These are $25 and $35, the one with Uro. and 30 and 40 for the Grave Titan, Inferno Titan, Croxus. So if you go 40, basically, 80, 120, 160, $200 to get just the foil ones, you could have all of the foil ones for $195.
Yep. I do really like the Titans one there, man. I think that's the one to get. Like it's
Which one?
The Titans, the Uro, the Croxa,
So they're two different. Those are two different things. So there's the one with Uro has Frost Titan, Uro, and
no way.
Inferno
So they're
Titan.
Okay. So they're not putting all those in one.
Right. You're not getting all.
Oh my
six
God!
Titans
You're getting
in one
just
box.
God.
You're
That's
just
weird.
getting these Primeval, Frost, and Uro.
You friggin' money grabbers, you
Is
Wizards
in one
of the
box.
Coast.
And then Grave Titan, Inferno, and Croxa is in another box.
You friggin' money grabbers, you.
Yeah.
Oh, damn you.
Wow.
So you only get 3 cards in that secret lair in each of those.
Yeah. Plus, you might be getting the freebie that they usually tuck in there, but you're going to get that in every one, hopefully. So, yes, those are only 3 cards, but they're pretty killer cards.
Nice job making money, Wizards of the Coast. I'll say that. You're going to get people buying those at $25. They're going to feel good about it. That's good job money grabbing.
They do give you the option if you want a high roll. Like I said, if you ordered just one of each in foil, you're looking at $195. Or in foil, both boxes of Titans in foil and not. Both boxes, the lands foil and not, and the terrible Heliod Swiftspear foil and not. So you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 secret layers for $260.
Wow. Insane.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how sustainable it is.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I always feel like a secret layer really has to hit me for me to want to go out and get it. It has to be a card I've been looking for, and I'm pumped that they reprinted it. Like Croxa, if that's $25-$30, I could justify paying that. I could justify being like, yeah, I probably would have bought it at that anyway if you didn't reprint it. And you're having all these other cool cards.
If they hadn't reprinted it, I would have expected Croxa to jump quick.
Yeah. That's really good, man. Especially with that Uro ban.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
I think people are going to look for that power in other cards. Man, I just realized I got homeless hair going on here. So there's cards now that language that was in there in the larger ban and restricted announcement coming up. And TechFour comments in the chat. I hope that BNR includes trickery ban.
Oh man. Yeah, can we talk about that for a minute? I think speaking of broken cards such as Uro, and if you guys were paying attention a couple weeks ago, we were talking about that. And one of the big things that we said, pay attention to when you invest in cards, right? Before, that are, especially ones that are climbing, and we said, barring any ban on Uro, it's the best creature ever printed, one of the best creatures ever printed. And here's the warning. It's taken over just about every format, even the eternal ones from long ago.
We spent a good 20 minutes or something last week going through where Uro was in Legacy, where it was in Modern, Pioneer, Historic.
Yeah.
And it was already banned in Standard.
Yeah. Just, we could almost see the writing on the wall with that one, and I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
So, Mike. Yeah. Let me show you the most recent MTGO Legacy Challenge.
Oh, God.
What took first place?
Man, we were just checking this out before this cast began, dude. This is so nasty. This is so nasty. It's obviously Valki, God of Lies, a.k.a. Tibalt, 2 mana, 7 mana Planeswalker in disguise. It's so nasty. They're trying to do in Legacy what people are able to do in Modern. You can do this in Modern. We always talk about this power creep of cards. You're seeing it. This is a thing in Modern, and it's becoming a thing in Legacy, a competitive deck in Legacy. It's in two of the top 8 decks here are Valki Cascade.
And when in Modern, you have Force and Negation, where you might be able to prevent your opponent from going off if they try to do it on their turn and they don't wait to do it on your turn. But here in Legacy, you get the full 4 forces of negation, the full 4 force of will, 4 misdirection, 2 mystical dispute, and in addition to violent outburst, you and I don't think they play Ardent Plea in Modern.
You could.
But you get Shardless Agent.
Wow. It's just so nasty. Like, look at what this deck is doing. This is also in my experience with these historical eternal formats, right? Let me tell you something that suggests some card that is in this deck is busted. When the deck is playing 4 misdirections and 4 Force of Wills. Because that tells you their game plan is to land this card.
That's it.
They need to land this card or they won't win. And they can do it so quickly, it's up to you to stop them. And they're so confident in that card winning the game that they'll just go all in on that game plan.
Yeah.
So, if you're not familiar with misdirection, it's basically a Force of Will. It's a 5 mana, change the target of target spell, right? And you can
exile a blue card.
You can pitch a blue card to instead of paying its mana cost. So this is for the Force of Wills, right? Like, you go off turn 0 with a violent outburst in Legacy, turn 0, and you're going to get your 7 mana Planeswalker on turn 0, and they have to do something about it.
Yep.
And when they do, you've got, in this case, 12 Force of Wills. That 12 Force of Wills, turn 0, and they're going to land a 7 mana Planeswalker. Turn 0.
Why is Misdirection a $2 card?
Because it's been reprinted in the ground, dude. It used to be like $13.
I'm just like, I'm happy to have a force in my commander deck, but I'm not going to have a force for every commander deck. Why don't I have a Misdirection for every commander deck?
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, even if you're just in a counter war, you can change the target of their counterspell back to themselves, right?
Oh yeah, it's so good. There's if it's very good for counter wars. That's oftentimes in those like Legacy and Vintage and those formats. That's often what it was used for. It was a Force of Will for Force of Will. You force it and you change the target of their Force of Will back to their own Force of Will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the.
So let me just look, because there's also in this Legacy Challenge in the top 8 was a second Valki Cascade. This one went a different way. I see lots of snow in this first one. We have a lot of Rainbow Lands, Gemstone Cavern, Mana Confluence, City of Brass. Right? They're really on this, using Elvish Spirit Guides and Simian Spirit Guides to get this out quick.
Yeah.
In the 5th place deck, we see a more normal sort of 4 fetches, 8 fetches, 10 fetches, a bunch of snow lands, a Valk, an Underground Sea, and a Trop.
Mm.
And here they've got 4 Brazen Borrowers, so they can, if you turn 0, get out your Valki,
God.
they can untap, bounce your Valki. So this is tech for the mirror.
Oh my God. Yeah, busted. The card's busted. There it is. This is Legacy. This is Legacy, my friends. And this is what the format is turning into.
All right, let's look at Modern.
This reminds me of mental missteps for your mental missteps, is what this reminds me of. This is stupid cards for your busted card that you're going to put out. This is mental misstep all over again. Busted. Absolutely busted. Something needs to change about that.
Here's a Modern. Oh, interesting. That's a good point. TechFour points out that Brazen Borrower can also bounce Deafening Silence. If they're teching, if another deck is teching against you, keeping you from cascading with something like a 3 fairy, which I think might be a pick right now.
Oof. It's always been a pick for us, right?
Yeah. But here we are in Modern, MTGO Modern Prelim. First place, Cascade Valki.
Something's got to change, man. Something's got to change. They're not going to ban that card. Not banning Valki.
Demonic Dread. That was the other one that I was trying to think of. So they're running Violent Outburst, Demonic Dread, and Bloodbraid Elf as the 12 Cascades. Like, this deck is not playing any counter magic in Modern. They're just going for it.
Yeah.
Which obviously, they're saying their opponent has to have the Force of Negation.
Right. And I mean, and they can also jam a very early Magus of the Moon, too.
Here's another Modern prelim taken down by Death's Shadow, but decks 3, 4, and 5. Valki, just 4 and 5.
Wow. Modern preliminary. Yeah, and it's showing up so much as a large part of the metagame because people are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
They just know it's busted, and they're still trying to figure out the perfect build for the deck. That card is something.
So that card will have been legal in paper play a week tomorrow. So it's been legal for 6 days. So the question is, does Tibalt get banned? I guess the other thing to point out is we are talking now about all Cascade decks, not Tibalt's Trickery decks.
It's true. And this is why I say, my official prediction, the Cooley prediction, Tibalt will not be banned. Because they have an aversion for this. You saw it with Uro. You saw this same thing with Uro. It started popping up in just about every format the week it was legal. And people were like, yeah, this card is stupid. But, what did they do? Oh, no, let's give it some time. We don't want to ban things that we just printed. What else did they do that with? There was a lot of them. Oko was the same way.
As long as
possible. They just didn't do it. Well, maybe okay. Well, let's do this. Let's print this card. Let's see if we can mix up the metagame a little bit. No, the card is busted. The right thing to do is to ban Tibalt. That's the right thing to do. Someone on your R&D team didn't think of Cascade and how that worked, and you just have to admit that mistake and ban Tibalt. But instead, what I think they're going to do is they're going to fix how Cascade works or something.
That's my opinion, is you just shouldn't be able to get the 7 mana side for free. If you get to 4 mana and play your Bloodbraid Elf and get a 2 mana Valki, I'm fine with that.
Right.
But I don't think it's sort of like what they did with Boom Bust and Brain in a Jar and the expertise cycle. So they had the expertise that would let you play a card from your hand without paying its mana cost, and you could choose to what is it when a split card you cast both halves?
Yeah, the fuse.
Fuse, right? Yep. So they would let you do that or cast the higher CMC side, and all they did was make a rule change to say you can't do that. You can only cast the half of the card that meets the criteria. That
would also be something that would be the right decision. I feel like that might inherently be the right thing to do. That or ban Valki. You know what I mean?
TechFour is saying ban Tibalt's Trickery in Standard, and in Modern, Valki should be banned. I think Valky's a super cool card. And the meme, and I will give credit to Cooley because he pointed this out, talk about vindicated. Tibalt was the biggest joke of a Planeswalker. Oh, we got a 2 mana Planeswalker, but it's the worst card ever. And then now we have another Tibalt that's 2 mana, but it's Trickery.
Be careful what you wish for.
It's the god of lies. So Valki is cool. It's a 2 mana, but you get this Tibalt. And now it's not 2 mana Tibalt, it's 7 mana Tibalt, and it's nasty, and it's taking over all these formats. The meme is great. I'm happy for Tibalt. I read all of the lore stories that WotC published for Kaldheim. They're really fun. They really make Tibalt out to seem like a pretty spicy meatball. He's a bigger deal. He's not this side character anymore.
Yeah. I like that. Good job on the lore. I don't read it much, but I can always appreciate the stories that you tell me about it, and that is a good way to work Tibalt into the lore there.
Well, it's very interesting. They have an epilogue. So basically, the short version of the Kaldheim story is that Kaya is hunting a monster, She doesn't know anything about it. It takes her to the plane of Kaldheim. When she gets there, she finds that you can't planeswalk between the realms in Kaldheim. You have to get transportation there from either some of the Kaldheim gods or something like that. And she finds that on all the different realms of Kaldheim, somebody has been whispering in the ears of the leaders, like the leader of the elves and the leader of the demons and the leader of the trolls, and riling them all up and getting them prepared for war. At the same time, this god of lies stole a magic sword that would let him pass from realm to realm in Kaldheim. So we go through all of this. Basically, Tibalt just gets everybody worked up to go to war, splits a hole between all of the realms, and they all come together in this huge battle. It's like the end of... it's like Avengers Endgame, where everybody shows up all at once to battle. And it's cool, and Tibalt just poof takes off, and you're like, well, what the hell was that? And he's just like, chaos is its own reward. That's actually a quote from the text. Chaos is its own reward.
That is cool.
At the end, there's an epilogue of one paragraph where this monster that they don't give a name to is killing Eska, who's one of the gods of Kaldheim, who is absolutely confounded because she knows that she's immortal. Like, she created the spell that gave the Kaldheim gods their immortality. And this creature steals sap from the world tree of Kaldheim, and then you hear a voice from another plane come through. That is great. One step closer to perfection. And it's Vorinclex has stolen this sap from the world tree and is going to take it back somewhere.
Word. Vorinclex and his land sapping. The bastard.
Well, and just so that this sort of super cool thing is that they're introducing, obviously, Vorinclex is a Phyrexian Praetor. Great. What does that mean? Well, do we think that that's the only one that we're going to see this year?
No, and they started talking about Phyrexians becoming their own creature type and such, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're definitely... Return to newer Phyrexia. Yes, that's what I hear in this.
Yeah, and I think that what we're going to see probably a Praetor on each of the next realms, and that's going to give us, like, all of last year, everything led up to War of the Spark, and Bolas was the big bad, and we had that big battle.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just going to have the same game again, except it's going to take us back to New Phyrexia or Mirrodin, whatever it's going to be.
Well, hey, at least they got those worlds right. You know what I mean? They got them so good, they're going to return to them so many times. Great job on the lore. Keep it consistent.
So we're gonna switch tracks here, and I'm gonna switch screens, and I'm gonna bring up a meme that I saw here. This is all credit goes to Cardboard Crack.
It's a great transition to what we're about to improve your lives here. Okay, this is what we do here.
We're gonna brag for about 10 minutes.
No, we'll keep it short. We just want to point out, you guys know we do a flashback segment every once in a while. We like to do flashback segments, and basically what those are is we say, hey, remember when we said this? It happened. Or, hey, sometimes we say, remember when we said this? It didn't happen.
And we're awake. We're alive. We're here.
But, yeah, so this meme right here was so great. Summed me up perfectly. Brad shared it with me earlier this week. We got to do it. We bouncing this back and forth?
Yeah.
All right. Son, never marry for beauty, because it will eventually fade.
So you're saying I should marry for intelligence?
No way. That also fades as people become old and senile.
Well, then what never fades?
Reserved list cards.
I if you weren't right, I'd really laugh. But looking at cards that we picked up last year,
these are some screenshots we're going to show here for the YouTube watchers that Brad took off from the Heroes and Legends channel. Where great channel, by the way, if you don't watch that.
Absolutely.
Great channel. He he always, like, just about every week, he'll do an update on cards that have gone through the roof or cards that have dropped in price. And you get a really good all-inclusive view of, like, what the big movers are in the market. It's kind of cool. He took some screenshots. I love it when he does this, and he sends me screenshots of cards that I have picked and talked about on the podcast, and also ones that he has picked. I mean, like, look, dude, we nailed it. This one right here, you might be able to see it on the screen. We were talking about this probably, I want to say some number of months ago now. This was a while back. This was when the reserve list prices started dropping. You know what I mean? Or they would just stayed stagnant for the longest time. And we said, look, you got to get this card. It's $8 and it's so good. And that card was City of Solitude. 3 mana enchantment. Each player can only play spells and abilities on their turn. Just shuts down a whole bunch of horse shit throughout the whole game, right? 3 mana, a very disruptive
2
enchantment.
and a green enchantment, hard permanent type to deal with. We saw the value in this card.
Yeah, and we said get this at $8, dude. You can get it for $7.50, $8. We were like, get them. It's on the reserve list. You can't go wrong. Just get it before you're sorry that you didn't.
Heroes and Legends. I'm watching their video the other day, and I see this card has gone up $34 to $68.99.
Insane. Well, if you haven't got it, you're going to be sorry you didn't, because now it's 10 times the price. $70 just about. $68.99.
Yeah.
Insane. That is, a 900% increase just about in maybe the 6 months since we were talking about it. Very good pick right there. Also, was this one that...
This was one of yours.
Oh, man. Yep. This was...
When it was reprinted in Mystery Boosters, Mike picked Gilt-Leaf Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw this in just about every Legacy or, Eternal format elf deck that I'd ever seen. Had 4 Gilt-Leaf Palaces in it. And I was like, wow, these things are like $2.53. And this actually made our list at one point for bad picks.
Yep, because
it actually went down in price.
Well, and then Kaldheim came back out, and we talked about it again.
Yep.
Kaldheim has a lot of great elves, and elves that are elf planeswalkers and elves that make other elves tap for black. So really cemented the black-green identity for elves. Absolutely.
And now that has gone up significantly. It used to be a $3 card. It's now $16.48. Spiked significantly. Here was a huge, the next card we're going to talk about, huge spec. Brad and I felt so sure about this one. We bought shit tons of them. I mean, they were all over the place. You could get this card we're showing on screen right now. It's called Altar of Bone. You could get this card for 50 cents. And I remember, this is before I started investing in the stock market. And the way I invested money was I trolled the reserved list. And I was like, what cards are wicked cheap? What can I get on the reserve list and what do they do? And sure as hell, I came across this card. I'd never seen it in any decks, but I was like, why don't we see this? Why don't we see this card in so many commander decks? This card is nasty. 2 mana tutor. It tutors. You go and find a creature in your deck and put it in your hand. Or no, wait. Yeah, you put it in your hand.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice a dude, but that's not a bad thing. It could be a sack outlet.
Sometimes that could be a good thing.
Exactly, dude. 2 mana tutor. Puts a card in your hand. It's basically a demonic tutor in green and white. And that card has gone up from 50 cents to $18 now. $18 for Altar of Bone. And just last week, just a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, I think it was last week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this might have been last week, actually. We were talking about this card, Donate. We were talking about all throughout history, this card's been used for various busted things. They have printed something like Harmless Offering that does the same thing in a different color for the same mana cost. But the more they print things that are better to give to your opponent, the more the value of those types of cards goes up some formats like Commander. Right? And we said Donate is on the reserve list. It's still only, at the time it was $9. We said, hey, look, you probably should get it because they seem to be focusing on cards that are bad to give to your opponent throughout time. And this just has an ear to the streets. And apparently a lot of other people picked up on that. This is now a $30 card in a week. Not bad. 200% return in a week. You guys are welcome. Anybody that picked those up, you're welcome.
So, Mike, we're getting on to about 50 minutes here.
All right, you guys.
What's your pick now? After bragging for, I will give you credit. We only bragged for about 6 minutes.
Perfect.
What's your? I'm guessing reserve list spec for this week.
I got to do it. This is going to be a new thing for me every week. I'm going to tell you the card that I think is significantly undervalued right now on the reserved list, and if we keep this hit rate up, you guys are going to be some rich mofos at the end of the year, dude. Like, I'm telling you, like, the hit rate has been insane. I'm telling you. If
anybody gets rich off of listening to this podcast, and it's not me, I'm going to be so mad.
So here's my pick for the week. This card is on the reserve list. Its name is Storm. Okay? Energy Storm. Take note of this. This card is insane. Currently, this price that you might see on screen here says $14.49. It's not that expensive. You can get it for like $8. Card's busted. I got all mine, all 25, 26 of mine for 50 cents. This was, again, back in my times where I'm trolling the reserve list, investing in cards that do busted shit. You know what I mean? Listen to what this card does, dude.
All right, sorry. I'm looking at TCG Player, and near mint and LP copies can be had between $8 and $10.
Yep. Still, not going to break the bank on this card. I would highly suggest getting a playset or more at that price. Highly suggest it. This card is busted. Listen to what this does. 2 mana enchantment, a white and a colorless. Okay, it does have cumulative upkeep, which is 1 mana, right? So it's a little bit taxing on your mana after some time. But listen to this. 2 mana. 2 friggin' mana. Damage dealt by instants and sorceries is reduced to 0. And it's like this card was printed in 2021 or something. It's got more text. Creatures with flying do not untap during their controller's untap step. 2 mana enchantment. 2 busted things. 1 busted thing per mana. Insane.
2 busted things, half off.
This is nuts. Are you kidding me? Especially in Commander, where a lot of these reserve list cards are being used, and what people are buying them for is Commander.
Yeah.
If you get to slam this on the table, and before you even have to pay the cumulative upkeep cost, you get the effect of that for 3 or 4 turns. It's paid for itself. It's paid off, and the cumulative upkeep is only 1 mana. So, like, you could do that again for a couple of turns. Keep people tapped down, or, reduce.
Akasha wants to make an appearance on the
Akasha, Mr. Kitty. Mr. Kitty. She's becoming more brave, man.
She sure is. I was surprised to see her jump up on your lap.
Yeah, me too. Good kitty. What a good cat. But anyways, this is the pick for this week. Energy Storm. Get it. It's $8. So I've already seen what is that? Friggin' some 1,000% increase or some shit on this. But like, trust me, I'm holding it. Like I'm not selling any of my 20, 30 copies, however many I bought for $8. I'm just not. This card's so busted. It's so good. I've never been more sure about a reserve list card price that is just underpriced right now. This is really good. This is actually the card that I was talking about a couple weeks back, but I couldn't remember. I was like, I invested in a card once and it was really broken, and it was white, and I was like, I can't remember the name of it. This was the card, Energy Storm. Get it? Pretty sick card. Busted.
And you're probably not going to lose money on it over time. My snap this ups this week, and I figure since Mike has one like $8 reserve list card, I can pick 2 or 3 20, 30, 50 cent cards. And I will tell you straight up that sort of, hi, kitty. She's like, no, don't put me down. I want back up.
What a good cat.
Has anybody read Bloodsky Berserker? Don't try and autocorrect me. This guy, another underrated uncommon from Kaldheim. 1 and a black for a creature human berserker. A 1/1 for 2. Must be terrible. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Bloodsky Berserker, and it gains menace. So they're counters. The counters are permanent. I watched a modern gameplay of somebody that plays a lot of rogue decks recently. And watching this with, what's the 0-drop? Look at your opponent's top card.
Urza's Mishra's Bauble.
Bauble, yeah. Watching somebody play this with Bauble and just going like, play this on 2, play Bauble, crack Bauble to see what they've got. You have a 3/3. And the rest of the deck was like, it looked very much like the mono black deck in Pioneer, which are all creatures that you can get back from the graveyard.
Wow.
And so it's just like a huge beater, must deal with threat in a very aggressive deck.
I mean, hell, even if you only pop this thing off twice, like, it's a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
Like,
So you can get 187 of them for 7 cents. This is for just the regular copy of the card. I bet this is $1 in a year. I got 150 foils at 17 cents a piece.
That's insane.
Let's see.
So you paid about $25 and got 150 of these.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I'm a big believer in Bloodsky Berserker. I'm all in on this penny stock.
Yep.
I think I drafted him and he was miserable in my deck. I was sad because in another deck he would be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to be a constructed card.
Yeah, you have to build around it.
That you're going to be able to double spell. And even better, if you can play this, like thinking about, say, Pioneer, if you can hold up double Fatal Push or something, like, because it's per turn.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, hell, even if you just throw this guy in a deck with like Snapcaster Mage, and you're just like, yep, on my opponent's turn, Snapcaster, Fatal Push, this guy gets bumped. Even if you counter that spell, like, you're still dealing with 5 power coming at you.
Very, very aggressive, very quickly.
Yeah.
I like this guy. The other, it's funny, and I'm just going to go to my order history. And for those of you that don't read my password, watching on YouTube. Another card that I really like is Hero of Bretagard, Gurmag Augur. Gurmag Augur? I bet there's a better way to look at this. Here we go.
Yeah, we got to see that. Gurmag
Hero
Augur.
of Bretagard. So this is only available in the Kaldheim Precon Commander deck. It is a 3 CMC 1/1. So this card is obviously worse than the 2 mana 1/1 I just talked about.
It's got to be worse.
There is a theme here. They're both humans. Sorry. Whenever you exile one or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, put that many +1/+1 counters on Hero of Bretagard. So if you path something, he gets a counter. If you ephemerate another creature, he gets another counter. If you foretell a card from your hand using the foretell mechanic, he gets a counter. As long as Hero of Bretagard has 5 or more counters on him, now this is cute.
If you fucking adventure a card too? Oh, man.
That doesn't exile it.
It doesn't?
Well, you cast it and then it gets exiled, so it's not from your hand.
Oh,
because it goes to exile from cast.
Okay.
But so this has 3 lines of text. The first one tells you that it will put +1/+1 counters on itself. The second one says, as long as it has 5 or more counters on it, it has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. So if you put a menace counter or a first strike counter or a death touch counter, which are things that you can do now in standard, good with Winds of Abandon. Yeah, exile all of your opponent's other creatures. Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So any type of counters add up to 5 counters to give it flying and make it an angel. And then build a bear. As long as Hero of Bretagard has 10 or more counters, it is indestructible and is a god, angel, human warrior.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I like it. The thing that I like about this most is it's restrictive printing. You know what I mean?
That's it. Hard to get.
The fringe decks, I think, that are going to work this in there's a limited printing for it. And I can almost guarantee something's going to work this in. Something's going to try to, whether it's Commander or whether it's some competitive constructed deck, something might try him out. And when they do, that limited printing is really going to drive the price of this up.
That's what it's going to be. So this is a card that you can get. I think I got 20 of them at 73 cents. I bet you can get them even cheaper now because I was impulsive. Clear, because they don't come in foils. Yeah. Okay, 27 cents for up to 502. It might take a minute, but this is another one that will be a $3 to $5 card. It's with only one printing. I have full faith in it. So my two snap this up this week were, what did I say? Bloodsky Berserker.
The foil version, of course.
The foil version, of course. And Hero of Bretagard. They're penny stocks. They're cheap cards. They're easily obtainable right now. And I know that they just got printed. The other card that I would obviously talk about is Croxa.
Yeah, we got to get that one.
But
that's a good pick.
I wonder how quickly. So it's going to be months probably before those secret lairs are shipped. A bunch of people that do buy those 4 Croxas are going to wait. Like, they're not going to buy your Croxa when they've got Croxas coming in the mail. But I also don't think that there's going to be enough supply from that secret lair that it's going to kill the pack version.
Yeah. It's one of those things you might want to wait on. Just wait on.
Just keep your eye
on it. Look for your opportunity, and when the time is right, strike. But also another one that we will keep you posted on is, when we think the time is right to strike is, another card. Keep this on your radar. The price will go down significantly, and that is Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Yeah. Like, that's, those 2 big titans we're talking about here. Keep your eye on both of them, because there's going to be an opportunity coming up soon, I think, to get them at a price that you likely won't see again any time in the near future.
Jesus. Look at the foil full art price.
Show them this graph.
Croxa. Just, again, always looking at the foil price of a card and seeing how disparate that is.
Wow.
I mean, that was a crazy spike, and it's come down a little bit since. But that foil full art is still $190. So how much is the foil version from the secret lair going to be worth?
It's a good question and a very good comparison. It's both going to, you can already see it dropping the price of the regular foil. They're probably going to meet somewhere in the middle. But the question is, how much are they going to print that secret lair, and how many copies are going to be out there? Like, that's going to make the big difference.
You know what? I am going to give TechFour. How is it spelled? Reidane. Reidane. TechFour a pick of the week. He found a whole bunch of just regular pack foil Reidanes.
Yeah, this card's so good.
Flying Vigilant 2/3 for 3. Snowlands enter tapped. Non-creature spells your opponents cast with CMC 4 or greater cost 2 more to cast. Good hate bear. Actually, there's I've seen some people playing hate bear type decks now with this in historic. That's another one that's like a penny stock. It's 50 cents or $1. It'll be $2 or $3 in a year.
Yeah, it might even be more than that, dude. Like, this card's good. This card's good. We talked about this before. This card's so good. It's good in ways you don't realize yet. Like, people don't realize this gets in front of your wrath curve.
Yeah.
It gets significantly in front of your wrath curve. And that's super important for a lot of these style decks.
It also has a backside. That's important.
Yeah, right? It also, of course, does something else, too. Like, it's a whole nother card on the back.
Kawa, card sucks. You're so funny. You're like, if it doesn't win on turn 1, card sucks.
Please welcome from Kaldheim, the King of Trolls.
Oh! Kawa just earned a title. The King of Trolls. If an opponent controls would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent one of that. Whenever another permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability. Yeah, we talked about this. This is
anti-grape shot, anti-walking ballista, friggin' white ween token BS, empty the Warrens. Get out of town, dude. This card does so much. There's so much value in this. You can't, 50 cents is a steal for this.
It's a quarter a card.
It's a quarter a card. Yep.
And if you buy these in foil, they won't curl because both sides are foil.
Great point. Great point.
All right.
Love it.
You guys are the best. You make it so fun to come here and hang and talk about our stupid childhood card games and take a few minutes to brag about all the cards that we talked about last year that have jumped in price because, you know, people are either buying game stonks or reserve list cards.
I was just going to say, did you love Game Stonk? You're going to love the SnapCast podcasts. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us each week here.
If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like the channel. If you want to listen to the audio version of the podcast, because, you know, if I didn't have to look at Mike's mug for an hour, no, I'm just kidding. But if you want, we are available on Apple Podcasts and the Google Store and things like that. So please like, share, subscribe, and most of all, come back next week. Hang out with us next Thursday so we can do it again.
Absolutely. Guys, spread the podcast.
Not the plague.